Sorry, good evening. Let's try that again. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Portsmouth School Department School Committee meeting of Tuesday, August 20th. If you would please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence for our troops in harm's way. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Prior to this public session, we had an executive session meeting pursuant to reviewing matters that relate to the privacy of students and their records. No votes were taken. Can I have a motion, please, to seal the executive session minutes of August 20th, 2024?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous 4-0. Please let the record reflect that we are short several members tonight. Emily Skian is not with us. Fred Ferber is not able to make it tonight. And Juan Carlos Paellero, we will talk about in just a minute, but he is also not here. In case of emergency, we have 2 exit doors in front, 1 in back, and we meet over at the school admin building. Speaking of Mr. Paellero, if you've been following local town news, you'll know that he was appointed to fill the vacancy on town council made by Lynn Katzman's resignation. Mr. Paellero was the next highest vote getter in last year's election or 2 years ago election for town council. So he will fulfill the rest of Mr. Katzman's term, which is up this coming November. So we are short now 1 member. I checked with our attorney, Marianne Carroll. For those of you who don't know, we have no control over the appointment of whether there's going to be a replacement member. That is solely at the town council's discretion. And I don't know yet whether they're going to say, we're going to appoint somebody for 2 months, or the election's in November. Mr. Paellero's seat was up in November anyway, if they're going to do that. So we may be short 1 person through the coming election. So, or they may choose to appoint somebody. If they do that, they usually call for letters of interest, review that, and then appoint somebody. But by the time they do that, we'd probably be at the election. So
I was going to say, not a lot of time left.
exactly. I'm kind of thinking they're probably not going to apply or fill the vacancy. So, however, Mr. Paellero was our vice chair. I also checked with our attorney whether there was any state statute that we had to have a vice chair, whether we needed to fill that. It's not in our policy that we do. We normally just talk about how do we make the initial appointments. So I think it's really up to the will of the committee if we want to do an official appointment for vice chair for the next month or 2, or if we want to do what the town council did, which says, you know, the most senior person present at the meeting would run the meeting if the chair is not able to be there. I mean, I think that's up to the will of the committee. We are down 2 people tonight. So my suggestion is that we put that on the agenda for next meeting and let people decide. I mean, I don't know if anybody feels strongly about it one way or the other. Okay. We will want to, however, recognize Mr. Paellero's service to the school committee at a future meeting. So we will get in touch with him about his availability and whether he can come and be so recognized. So he will be missed. And luckily now we have somebody who knows a lot about the schools on the town council, which is always a good thing, right? Statewide Study Transportation or Transportation Study Commission. Their first initial meeting is coming up on Wednesday, the 28th up at the State House. I plan to attend. It's a introductory meeting. I have the room number, which I can let people know if you're interested in going. I put under chairperson's remarks a PDF that Ms. Rhodes quite nicely organized of our discussions on this issue that appeared in the Portsmouth Times. I'd encourage people to share it. I've shared it with our state legislators. So getting that information out there and the costs, et cetera, I think is to our benefit. Okay, subcommittee updates. We only have one, District Building Committee, which met yesterday, August 19th. The committee voted unanimously to send for consideration by the full committee our business item A tonight. That's the whole reason we're having this meeting pretty much. But since we have our OPM here tonight to give a presentation on the bond projects, that was most of the meeting, so I'm not going to repeat it twice. I'll add my comments during your presentation if I have any. So, is there any public comment? No, hearing no public comment, seeing nobody signing up. Moving on to our presentation tonight. Dr. Kenworthy?
Thank you. So as Dr. Copeland mentioned, we have with us this evening Mr. Eric Andrudis, who is our owner's project manager representative from the Peregrine Corporation. And Mr. George Simmons is also here, our new town and schools facilities director. So whenever you are ready.
Thank you, Dr. Kenworthy. Thank you, Dr. Copeland and committee. So tonight we did a quick presentation on the 5 summer projects that we have going on in your 2 elementary schools right now. If we were to go to the next slide, this right here is our bathroom renovation project that is working on at Melville right now. This is your kindergarten wing. This was the second set of bathrooms that we did not do last summer. The contractor on this project was Mill City Construction. The original contract value was $455,150,000. Our current contract value is the same. As of today, we've not received any change orders for this project. We are still in the construction phase. They did mobilize on June 18th, and we anticipate substantial completion on August 25th. Our definition of substantial completion is the spaces being able to be utilized for its intended purpose, which means your students could use this space as of the 25th of August if they were in the buildings and needed it. If you went to the next slide, there were a few photos. All of our photos are taken about a week in advance. There's a lot of work that happens in the week that we've come to. I'm going to say that every time I show you a photo, but this is about 7 days ago and what the bathrooms look like. At this point, all of the toilet fixtures are in place. All of the toilet partitions are in place. All of the ceilings are in place. All the fire protection is in place. All they have left to do is do the fire alarm testing in here. Everything else is done at this point. So if you were to go in there right now, it would look like a completed space. The next project we have is the Melville Elementary School. So this was our second project that we have going on at Melville. The contractor that was hired is Allboard Construction. The contract value was just under 4.5 million. We're still under just 4.5 million. There were a couple change orders. They were small value dollars at this point. We are still in construction phase. So this one's listed a little bit differently. So our mobilization date was June 18th. And then we have something called classroom turnover. So what that meant was we were going to take care of all the large scale messy construction that's in the building. So that's all your drywall, your closets, your doors, your soffits, your ceilings, your lights, your fire protection in there. And the intent was to try to get all the infrastructure in place during the summer. So none of that work needed to be done when the students were in there. So what's happening is I listed classroom turnover as August 31st. It's actually a phased turnover. If you were to look at the schedule, there's 3 sections of the building and they're all getting turned over at different rates. As of this point, all but 4 classrooms have been turned over for cleaning purposes. That doesn't mean that they're done. There is some base and some door hardware and some other miscellaneous things that'll happen between now and August 31st. But they're in a position to turn over all of the spaces except for 4 as of now. And then we anticipate those other 4 being turned over on Monday. And then we do list final completion. We list October 4. What that is that's going to get us to startup, commissioning, functional testing, owner training, and any punch list items in there. And all that work will be on second shift when there are no students in the building. The couple photos. So what you're looking here at the top is what a finished room looks like. That floor has been stripped. That has not been waxed. Again, that was taken a few days ago. And then the bottom area is your kindergarten classrooms or pre-K up in the north end of the building. Those ceilings were all removed. That ductwork's a little bit different. And that ceiling will be put back in this week. Next projects we have are at Hathaway Elementary School. So at Hathaway, we did the double stacked bathrooms in the education wing. That contract came in at $873,000. We're still at $873,000. We're still in construction phase. Again, they mobilized on June 18th, and substantial completion is August 30. These bathrooms had some abatement that was required in them, so they're about 2 weeks behind the schedule of the Melville bathrooms. Right now, the intent is to turn over the second floor on the 27th and the first floor on the 30th. Really confident that second floor will be done before that. Pretty confident the first floor will be done on August 30th as well. The milestone that we have on that bathroom is a 4-day epoxy finish. So it takes 4 days to install the epoxy, and they didn't start until tomorrow. So it'll be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then they can come in and do the finishes early next week. Just a couple photos. So the top 2 photos of the first floor. At this point, the wall tiles are done on the first floor bathroom, just like the second floor is on those bottom photos. And the epoxy floor is 100% done on the second floor, which is the bottom photos. Next project we have is the Hathaway Elementary School. Again, all board construction received this one. Original contract value was just under 4.4 million. We're still just under 4.4 million. We are in construction phase. Mobilization was the 18th. Again, classroom turnover is the 31st. This building is more complicated because we had the elevator, we had the double stacked bathrooms, the power increase to the building. This actually has 7 different phases of turnover. So there's different items that were turned over to your custodial teams at different times. At the current time, there are still 2 rooms that are not turned over to the district for cleaning if needed, though we anticipate those being turned over on Monday as well. And again, there'll still be construction in all of these rooms. Your art and your music are the 2 outliers at this point. They're really close to being done by the time the teachers return, where we're on the fence right now, where we're real close to it and we think it's going to happen. But there is some additional work because they had to move some sinks and art that just created some other challenges in that space. Next project, we have just some photos. So that was a waxed floor. The Hathaway team was a little bit ahead on their cleaning. So that was a waxed floor with a soffit. And then the bottom one was some of the pitch ceiling with the yellow exterior windows and your new transformer that was required. The last project we have is the elevator project for Hathaway Elementary School. So this was tower construction. Tower has had some changes in theirs as well. Most of this was abatement for floor and the compound that was currently installed in there. Their construction began on February 12th. We did ask them to leave at one point to come back during the summer, and their substantial completion is not until November 15. They were never intended to be done this summer. We always had it at end of year, but they're progressing really well. If you look at some of the photos, you can see the exterior is almost done. That's the hallway on the top right. On the bottom left, that's your new hydraulic system that's in place. The area on the bottom right is your IT closet for the district. So we had to shut down the IT for the building, make it safe. And the plan is to bring it back up tomorrow, which may or may not happen at this point, but it's going to be pretty close. And then the next page, just some additional photos of the elevator shaft and the hallways that lead up to that area. To the superintendent and chair, that would complete our presentation.
Great. Superintendent can share what?
I said thank you.
Oh, okay. I know Ms. Blank and I were at the meeting yesterday, so we've heard this in a lot of detail, but Ms. Kelly, Ms. McDade, do you have any questions? So, yeah, I think the really important things is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't look like there's going to be any reason the opening of school will be delayed, correct?
Not as of now. We've got a big rest of the week and weekend coming up, and then the phase turnover that Ms. Andrews was talking about, and then next week, the early part of the week will be a big cleaning week for our district custodial staff.
Yeah, I mean, there was a tremendous amount of work that was being done this summer for the bond projects, and you've done a great job organizing and keeping everybody on track, and extend our thanks to all the firms that really, I think, have been working very hard to make this get done, and especially the staff now, I think, who is really working hard at getting the rooms cleaned, and we appreciate the patience of teachers. I know they usually like to get in early August and get everything just perfect. It may be a little chaotic this year, but I think the buildings are going to be so much better for the kids. going forward. So really a lot of appreciation to you and
Well-
everybody working on the
Well,
project.
thank you. Again, your administration staff's fantastic. They still meet with us weekly. It's super helpful. We do have some challenges to get to the end. As you know, these rooms aren't done yet. There is some things that still need to happen in them. Our plan, we wanted to get everyone in as soon as possible. We don't know if that's going to happen right now, but we still anticipate that the first day the teachers return, that those rooms would be available for them. So unless something happens that we're not aware of, our plan is to get them in on their first day.
So we're still crossing fingers, but it looks pretty good.
But-
When would you suggest that we maybe schedule a tour for interested school committee members? I'd like to see all the finished work, early October.
Well, I was gonna say, should we wait till after that October date where everything is
Yes.
ready
yes.
to be turned on?
Yeah, I would like to get through punch list first, if that's okay.
Sure, no, I'm
noth-
just,
Nothing's perfect in our world, and we know that we're gonna have a little bit of a punch list, and, just because we're done with this first phase doesn't mean we won't have some challenges in our second, so we want to make sure everything's up and running and get us through it. I'd love to give an update at our building committee next, with an estimated date on when to get everyone through.
Right, and obviously, just for the community, the elevator will not be operational. It was not planned on being operational until November, if I remember correctly.
That is
So-
correct.
It's really just getting all the big construction stuff done so the kids can get in the building in the fall. And you're gonna be available for the bathroom discussion too, right?
Yes, ma'am, I will hang around for that.
All right, so we won't talk about that. Any other questions? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Nice concise presentation too. You sped right through that. We spent what was it, an hour and a half at
Building
the,
committee, yeah.
pretty much the same information, but a lot of questions. Dr. Kenworthy, superintendent's update.
Thank you. So first up, I have personnel updates since our last meeting. Since that time, I have welcomed these individuals to the district. Donna O'Malley as a teacher assistant at Portsmouth High School. Isabella Abusi as a teacher assistant at Portsmouth Middle School. Tara Woods, teacher assistant at Portsmouth High School. Jenna DeAngelis, teacher assistant at Hathaway, and Alexandria Toth, general school aide at Hathaway. Last meeting, I was able to report, we had a couple of weeks there where every teaching position was filled. And of course, as soon as we report something like that, we have had a few resignations for people who have either moved or found other jobs closer to home. So Sarah Murphy, special educator at Portsmouth High School. Elizabeth Huey, grade 1 teacher at Hathaway. Caitlin Parent, a registered behavior technician at Melville. And Ashley Morales Diaz, a registered behavior technician at Portsmouth Middle School, have all put in their resignation since our last meeting. So we're working to fill those positions and a few other things that have come up. And then lastly, again, just putting, the fall sports season has started at the high school, middle school. We'll start with the opening of school, but we have one additional volunteer football coach at Portsmouth High School, Greg Blythe. So moving on to district updates.
Before you move on, recognize how close it is to the start of the year. Do you have concerns, or is there any way we can support filling these positions?
We're in the process.
Mike?
We're already in the process of putting people forward and
Oh,
filling
okay.
those positions. I don't have any concerns.
So it's
about
already been
people already.
posted. We already have responses.
oh,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
All right. District updates. So we're looking forward to the opening of the 2024-25 school year. Just a few key dates to keep in mind. This Friday, August 23rd, is the date that we set for the release of scheduling information for Portsmouth Middle and High School. That'll be available through Aspen, our student information system, and then elementary teacher assignments. That's typically a letter that's mailed. Those are going to go out on Friday as well. So next Thursday, August 29th, is our staff orientation day. So we're looking forward to being able to welcome all staff back on that day. And hoping that Melville and Hathaway staff can be in their buildings. We do have contingency plans if not. Where everyone is off on Friday as we roll into, well, not off for those of us who are year-round employees. You would need to take vacation time, but there no school scheduled activities. But as we roll into the Labor Day holiday weekend, and of course, Monday, September 2nd is Labor Day. So Tuesday, the 3rd, we have full day orientations for kindergarten, grade 5, grade 9, and new students at each of our schools. And September 4th is the first official day for all students of the 2024-25 school year. So some other dates are in there. I won't read all of them, including our open house dates coming up at each of our schools, which they will publicize all of the details around times. I mentioned with Aspen, we did have our successful rollover to the new school year. So now at this point, student contact information, our email listservs, all of that should be up to date. So parents will be encouraged through each school to make sure that all of that contact information is up to date in Aspen. Bus schedules have been posted to the district website. So families should make sure they review those schedules and follow up with our bus company for our student if there are any questions on routes or times. At the start of the school year, we encourage all families to fill out an application to determine eligibility for the National School and Breakfast Lunch Program. New this year, any approved applications will qualify for free breakfast and lunch. So there's no more reduced categories there. And everything else regarding school meals is governed by our food service policy. As I already mentioned, the fall athletic season is currently underway at PHS, and we'll be starting with the opening of school at PMS, and all of that information can be found through our athletics webpage on our website. And then unless there are any other questions for me, I'm going to turn things over to Dr. Viveros for a brief update. Typically, we do a more comprehensive update after the school year has opened and things have settled in places, but Dr. Viveros has what the numbers look like as we get ready to start the year here.
Yeah, I have one quick question on the free lunch and breakfast. Have the requirements been adjusted? Like, are fewer kids going to get the benefit since it's free lunch, or is it, or would anyone who had gotten a reduced lunch before
Yeah,
now?
that's
gets
my
it free?
understanding, is that families filled out the application, and what obviously what would have qualified as free before will qualify as free, but also what would have qualified as reduced is qualified
now.
as free.
Yeah, this is actually the state of Rhode Island is funding the difference between the reduced price and the free. So people will still be qualified as either free or reduced, but the price for the meal is $0 for both categories.
Good.
Right?
Great.
Viveros?
So as Dr. Kenworthy said, this is a brief overview of where we are with our enrollment data. I'll be providing a more comprehensive presentation on September 24th, giving you all of the details that we typically review at the start of the year. So just if you can see here, our total enrollment as of Friday was 2,109 students. And I just did a comparison as to the presentation that we had at the end of September last year. We were at about 2,153 students. And just a little information behind that. If you look at our kindergarten enrollment, as of Friday, we have 68 kindergartners at Hathaway, 45 at Melville. Currently, we have 27 pending applications. So that's parents that have started the registration process, but they have additional documents that they have to upload and they haven't scheduled an appointment yet. On top of that, we have this week 19 scheduled appointments. So 27 pending applications, 19 scheduled appointments. So it's very busy at our office right now. So I am expecting that at the end of September, when I present again, those numbers will be much closer, if not possibly a little over last year's enrollment at that time. Do you have any questions on enrollment?
So regarding classes or overly filled classes or close to the cap classes, are we seeing any of that?
Right now, our first grade at Melville is maxed out at the contractual number. We can still go over one,
or two, yeah.
just over one in each of the classrooms and pay those teachers that compensation for going over one, but we're maxed out at Melville's first grade.
First grade.
Besides that, we're getting close at a few others, but we're not there yet.
Any any really small classes?
Right now, our kindergarten classrooms are small, but again, we've got, I was actually even looking at the appointments, and there are a lot of kindergarten appointments right now as well. So we're low, but not low enough to start looking at like classroom.
Great. Okey doke. Thank you very much.
you.
Okay, thank you. That completes everything with my update.
Yeah, any other questions for Dr. Kenworthy, Dr. Viveros? No, thank you. We appreciate the updates. Can I have a motion for school committee minutes, please?
I move for the approval of the school committee minutes of August sixth and the executive session minutes of August sixth, 2024.
Second, been moved and seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous 4-0. Can I have a motion, please, for the consent agenda?
I move for the approval of the consent agenda.
Any, all in favor? Any opposed? You're messing me up. Unanimous, 4-0. Can I have a motion, please, for discussion and action on discussion on the Portsmouth Middle School bathroom renovations project?
Okay, I move for discussion, no action, on the Portsmouth Middle School bathroom renovations project.
Second.
All in favor of discussion? All right, yes. Dr. Kenworthy,
Thank you. So we do have the construction document review. So this is the last phase of approvals that we need from the RIDE School Building Authority to be able to put get their approval to put the middle school bathrooms out to bid. So that'll be a key step. Middle school bathrooms are our last of the bond projects, which are slated for the summer of 2025. As Dr. Copeland had mentioned previously, that was the main discussion at our district building committee meeting on Monday. So all of this is being forwarded to us upon approval from the district building committee. Backup information is there. I don't know if there are specific questions.
so I would just like to add that this was subject of a large discussion at the district building committee. And again, would like to thank Studio Jade and our OPM Peregrine. And we asked specifically, had there been any lessons learned from the earlier bathroom projects? And if so, what were they changing? We asked about the number of units that were going to be available after the construction or demolition and reconstruction. And we also, because there's been some vandalism at the high school, we asked about were there ways in which we could kind of work to maybe see if these were a little bit more I won't say vandal proof, but maybe would accommodate some of the problems and vandal resistance, I guess. So, and in all cases, they really accommodated those requests. Some of the soap dispensers are different. That's been a change. They're having partitions are different in the bathrooms now, so they're less likely to be swung on, which is, I think, a positive change. The ceiling was that decided? The hard versus.
Soft ceiling for ACT, but then add alternative making it hard.
Yeah, so that was an issue that was still under discussion. The hard ceiling being more vandal resistant, the acoustic ceiling being better for obviously acoustics, right? But that's something the committee should think about. And then kind of the remaining issue had to do with the doors at the middle school, whether there would be doors or not doors. One that you could secure them so that if something did go wrong, people couldn't enter the bathroom. But on the other hand, they like them open so that they have the sight lines, et cetera, et cetera. But I commend everybody. I think you guys did a really thorough job in thinking through the project, and this is our last big one. So nice to get it to ride and get it bid out. Questions? Sandra?
Just want to make a statement. I just really appreciate the hard work of the team, both yourself, Eric, and the entire group. It's been a lot of work, all happening this summer, but overall, just absolutely appreciate working with Studio Jade, working with Peregrine. It's been a pleasure.
Dr. Kenworthy, any comments on it?
I do not. I echo everyone else's comments and just looking forward to this last set of projects.
Okay, so can I have a motion, please, for action, for approval? Now we need to read that whole thing here about sending it to RIDE.
I move for approval to submit to the Rhode Island Department of Ed School Building Authority the plan for the Portsmouth Middle School bathroom renovations in order to qualify for the 60% construction document review.
Good. All in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous 4-0.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Where are we here? So that was our main purpose of the meeting tonight. We really wanted to get that to RIDE as soon as possible. And upcoming meetings will be a workshop on August 26th. This is a public meeting, but it is not a public meeting for discussion. It's just a discussion among school committee members and administration. But obviously public's welcome to listen in. Policy subcommittee meeting on September 9th. And then we have our regular school committee meeting on September 10th, but we will be
Okay.
meeting at the high school because that is primary election day. So don't forget to do your civic duty and get out and vote. So with that, can I have a motion for adjournment, please?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed? Unanimous 4-0. Thank you very much for coming, everybody. Enjoy